What's up, world? My name is Anakin and this is the Pyjama Investor. Today we're going to talk about something fundamental, something that completely changed my thought process in relation to financial independence, and that's savings. So let's look at some numbers, shall we? Most people are taught to save 10% of their income, right? And if you save for 10%, if you save at 10% for 10 years, you'd have an entire year's worth of income saved, right? Because 10%, 10 times is 100%. Now, let's say you save for 40 years, right? You'd have saved about 4 years worth of income. So by that math, if you were to retire in your 60s, let's say you retire in your 60, by 65, you'd be completely out of money, which is not great. It's terrible, right? And there's more actually here. There's a kicker. Most people don't save 10%. Most people save about 3.75%, meaning at the end of 40 years, you'd have saved about a year and 4 months or thereabout, right? And there's more. Inflation. Statistics show that every 15 to 20 years, the cost of living doubles, meaning that your 1 year, 4 years return would end up being about 8 months after you retired, which means you'd be out of money in no time, in absolutely no time, which is not great. Right? And then the two methods the masses have used to combat this, which is one, go to uni, get a degree, get a high paid job. With this, nothing really changes because your expenses will increase as your lifestyle increases. Right? As your income increases, chances that your lifestyle will increase. You buy a nicer car, you move into a nicer home, you buy nicer clothes, and you eat at fancier restaurants. And then it becomes a lot more difficult to achieve financial independence because it's a lot more difficult to replace a larger income than it is to replace a smaller one. The second one is to buy a house, because if my savings aren't going to get me to financial independence, then perhaps if I bought a house at a nice present value, in the future I'd have made a nice chunk of change when I sell it. And buying a house never reduces your expenses. Your expenses shoot up to the roof because you have to deal with all this maintenance fees, body corp fees, land taxes, etc., depending on your property. I was watching a recent Jay-Z interview where he mentioned that the tools that he used to get himself out of the project are not the same tools that his kids would use to propel themselves to greater heights. And that got me thinking, because a lot of us are still banking on traditional means of growing wealth that were used by previous generations, despite the fact that the market has changed and those tools are not going to be as effective as they once were. Like I said, a lot of people are not going to want to hear what I have to say, but going to uni, getting a degree, buying a house in hopes of achieving financial independence are not related. If anything, they're counterintuitive. But there's hope. And here's the solution. Save 10% of your income. Whatever your income stream is, whatever your job is, save 10% of your income. At first, it would feel uncomfortable. It would be demanding. But after 3 months, you get used to it. And at that point, you need to accelerate. You need to increase the amount by which you're saving. Right? And then the second one would be to start investing at 10% per annum. Right? And that could be easy things like index funds, real estate investment trusts, etc. There's a plethora of options to help you like that for you to invest in. Just doing those two things, saving 10%, accelerating every 3 months, and then investing at 10% per annum, you'll be able to achieve complete income replacement in 20 years. But if you're like I am, right, and you want to shorten that period, you're impatient, you add trading to the mix. That'd be trading forex, trading cryptos, etc. Right? Trading could give you an increase of 20% per annum, and that's being super conservative. And what that would do is that it would shorten your journey from 20 years to 5 years. 5 years to having complete income replacement. This right here is a chart, is a risk structure. This is how you should structure your risk, basically. Having savings as your biggest buffer, right? Having a cash buffer as your biggest allocation. And then you go up to index funds, mutual funds, bonds. And then you go up to index funds, mutual funds, bonds. And at the highest point, trading. This has the highest risk. Lower risk, lowest risk, but as you go up, as the risk increases, your rewards increases. Imagine like having a savings account gives you about 2% interest thereabout, about 2% interest, and then index funds give you about 10% per annum, and then trading could give you 20% up, right? But then the risks significantly increase. And the goal is to grow your passive income streams, right? And this is pretty much what this channel is going to be about, like tips and like strategies and ideas, and we'll discuss all these different avenues of how we could like grow our passive income streams. And there's a lot of options. So I want to leave you with one thing. The path to financial independence is pretty straight. You have to serve, all right? And that's could be whatever you're doing, work, whatever's bringing in income, and then save that income and then invest it. And that's how you get to financial independence. As always, my name is Anakin, and this is the Pyjama Investor. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will answer as quickly as possible. And yeah, watch out for the next videos.